What's up, Raider Nation? Welcome to the TRU Raider Podcast. I am your host, TRU Raider. Now, there's some stuff going on right now with injuries on this team. I just wanted to get into it real quick, man, because, we had Divine Diablo out last week against the Panthers. He's injured. He's got an oblique injury. He's got a concussion. And who's to say when he's going to be able to make it back in? We also have Max Crosby injured, high ankle sprain, and he might sit out this coming week against the Cleveland Browns. I mean, he sat out many snaps and against the Panthers, and if he does sit out, this will be his first game missed in his career. And then also we got safety Marcus Epps suffers a knee injury, is out for season, torn ACL. And then Malcolm Kuntz, it was also announced last week that he has suffered a season-ending knee injury. So real quick, I'm going to pull up the screen on Marcus Epps because this article came out from Bleacher Report, and it says, Raiders rumors, Marcus Epps out for season after knee injury diagnosed as torn ACL. Las Vegas Raiders safety Marcus Epps will miss the remainder of the 2024 season after being diagnosed with a torn ACL per NFL Network's Tom Pelissero. Epps suffered the injury during Sunday's loss to the Carolina Panthers. Pelissero reported that while he didn't sustain a torn ACL injury, while he did sustain a torn ACL injury, there was no other damage, and he'll be ready for the 2025 season. Epps will be a free agent this offseason. Epps, who signed with the Raiders before the 2023 season, has started every game since joining the team. Last year, he tallied 66 tackles, a forced fumble, 3 passes deflected. Through 3 games this season, he picked up 19 tackles, the second most among Las Vegas defense. Along with his presence on the field, Epps has quickly emerged as a leader for the Raiders, being named a team captain in each of his seasons with Las Vegas. A former 6th-round draft pick out of Wyoming, Epps began his career with the Minnesota Vikings before being traded to the Philadelphia Eagles during his rookie year. He stayed with the Eagles from 2019 to 2022, tallying a career-high 94 tackles in his final season in Philadelphia. After a strong year in 2022, Epps inked a 2-year, $12 million deal with the Raiders. While he was hoping to put together another big year ahead of his free agency, he'll instead hope either Las Vegas or another team is still willing to give him a lucrative contract despite the injury. Now, you guys, Marcus Epps came over from the Eagles, man, and, it definitely changed the way that this safety room looked, right? When Marcus Epps came over, Trayvon Merrick had been struggling. We weren't really sure what we're doing at safety. And it was looking kind of weird, right? And then he signed with us this 2-year, $12 million deal. And Epps kind of revitalized that safety room. Trayvon Merrick started playing better. These guys really clicked well together. And it looked pretty good, man. And because of this looking pretty good, that's one of the main reasons why I've liked having Epps around. Another reason is because he's not afraid to tackle, man. We had some news come out, from the presser of AP saying some people made business decisions. And so, the Raiders are going to make business decisions moving forward. And, there's a lot of speculation on what this is about and what it could be. One of those things is about players just kind of giving up on the game and not tackling, pulling up Marcus Peters. And I saw some clips of Jack Jones really just not putting the effort to tackle. I saw a lot of players towards the end of that game kind of doing the arm tackle thing and not really wrapping people up. They had kind of given up on defense, and Trayvon Merrick is one of those guys that they're saying was giving up, and he really hasn't looked super good this season. So with Marcus Epps being out, we're going to be looking at Isaiah Paul Mao is going to have an opportunity to come in and see what that looks like for this Raiders defense. But I have a feeling, you guys, that I don't think Marcus Epps is going to end up signing another year with the Raiders. Now, I want him to get signed because right now Paul Mao is good and he'll have an opportunity the rest of the season to kind of show us where he's at. And then, we got Trey Taylor. We got Chris Smith. We got a couple of safeties just kind of on deck waiting to get their opportunity to play. And there was already speculation on whether or not Epps was even going to get signed to another year. Seems how he has the second most tackles out of any Raider so far this year. I'd kind of lean towards maybe him getting another chance, but what we don't want is like a Brandon Faison who's sitting on the roster and just not being able to get it done. Not being able to play because he's out with an injury, right? So this is bad news for the Raiders, honestly, because without having Marcus Epps out there, our defense just got a little bit weaker, right? And this is that we have Divine Diablo's out with injury. I don't know how long he's going to be out. They haven't said yet. And honestly, I'd been talking about Divine Diablo maybe being a problem for this team in that he really hadn't, had a lot of great games so far, right? Some of those really big runs, especially against the Chargers, were obviously Divine Diablo's fault. And so, personally, it might be a good thing that Divine Diablo is going to be out. Hopefully, maybe another week or two, just to give us an opportunity to play some of our other linebackers, get Luke Masterson in here, get Amari Gaynor in here, Amari Burney, get these guys some reps and see, are we going to go ahead and play these guys instead of Divine Diablo, or would we see that maybe Divine Diablo is missed and then we, as soon as he's healthy, bring him back in and put him in that starting lineup. And then another injury that we got going on, is we talked about it already, but Malcolm Kuntz being out with an injury is kind of a big deal, man. Because Malcolm Kuntz is out with an injury, it really is damaging this offensive line. The right side of the line is not being able to get it done with Tyree Wilson and Janarius Robinson. We're seeing a little bit of Snowden out there, and he's kind of getting to the ball, but not really, right? Not like Malcolm Kuntz was expected to. So, we have Malcolm Kuntz down, we have Marcus Epps down, we have Divine Diablo down with the injury, and then we got Max Crosby, right? Max Crosby has a high ankle sprain, and this is really it's pretty deflating, because he did not look very good against that Carolina Panthers team. And honestly, I think it had a lot to do with the poor performance of our defense, because when Max is not being disruptive, it gives backup quarterbacks like Andy Dalton the opportunity to just kind of, be free reign, do whatever he wants with this defense, and we saw that, and that's really not good to see that one player can impact it that much. But it's not just one player. This is Max Crosby, Malcolm Kuntz, Divine Diablo, and then Marcus Epps went down with an injury during that game. And it's just like, it was very clear that Max was not at full speed. He sat out for a lot of reps, and Max Crosby is one of those guys he's gonna be on the field for almost every single snap, and he missed a lot of snaps. And it sounds like it's more of like AP protecting him from himself. That way he doesn't further injure himself. But you guys, it's really concerning to me because it looks like Max Crosby might not play next week against the Browns. And honestly, I think that's the good move. Sit Max Crosby, let him heal up, make sure we don't end up losing him for long term with this injury. But another piece of that is, that him missing games is it's very concerning. it's very concerning because I don't want him to be in a position where he's hurt that bad. And then another guy that we don't really have much news on yet, but it's Thayer Mumford, right? Thayer Mumford went down with an injury on the first drive, and DJ Glaze came in. Now, DJ Glaze did a pretty good job, right? And I think that DJ Glaze can hold his own and go ahead and start for us in the meantime. But honestly, I think that right now Thayer Mumford is a better tackle than Glaze. And so, in the midst of them wanting to shift around and do all these things on their offensive line, to not have Thayer Mumford as one of those options is pretty brutal, you guys. So, I just wanted to touch base with the injuries real quick, man, just to kind of, get that out of the way.